And we're off. It is Wednesday, April 26th, 2023 AD. Let me tell you the date first, and then the time. 9:01 a.m. here in Los Angeles. It's Pacific Daylight Time. And, can we play clip 31? I want to show you guys a simple and charming first woman vice president. She's the first woman vice president, right? A lady, and I use the term loosely, cackling Kamala Harris. I wish she would just leave her speeches at this. But no, she doesn't leave it at this. But I'm going to leave it at that because Breaking 911 shared this clip of Vice President Harris telling the truth, or is it?
So I think it's very important, as you have heard from so many incredible leaders, for us at every moment in time, and certainly this one, to see the moment in time in which we exist and are present, and to be able to contextualize it, to understand where we exist in the history and in the moment as it relates not only to the past but the future.
Isn't that deep? Shout out to cackling Kamala Harris. I don't know if it is important to know and see the moment that we're existing in. She looks like a ghost, says Severio Jones. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was poor lighting. She needs to get more sunshine like Hake on the weekends. I got a little bit too much, to be honest. Let me double check over on Odyssey, odyssee.com/ yes, at the Hake Report. I stream there. Did you know that? So, see the moment in time in which we exist and are present to be able to contextualize it. She was talking at a reproductive rights phony thing. Ridiculous. Evil woman. But kind of funny. I like when she talks like that, to be honest. I find it, although it's somewhat meaningless, I disagree with her. I don't know if it matters. I think women, we need not worry their pretty little heads about their phony history stuff. Yeah, she's mildly attractive, I guess. Her voice is kind of nice sometimes. Anyway, she strikes me as shallow, even though she's a prosecutor. She was the top cop of California. Did you know that? The California AG, Attorney General. Obama called her mildly attractive himself, in his own way, in his own words. So, to understand where we exist in the history and in the moment as it relates not only to the past but the future. I think it's very important. I disagree, cackling Kamala Harris. It's not very important. Reproductive rights, which is a euphemism for killing the unborn babies, right? They're not babies until they're born, Hake. Ignorant. Which is a distinction without an importance. Which is I don't know whatever that line is. A distinction without a difference. Or a difference without a distinction. No, I don't really think that she's mildly attractive. I mean, I guess she is, but I'm not enough to remark on it except for to read your chats about it because you're used to me commenting on their behavior or their appearance, not their behavior. I'm going to be talking about today, I will be getting to your calls, guys, Gen Z for Biden. Are they trolling me? They're kind of obnoxious, although I'm one to talk, right? And I mentioned on the Jesse Lee Peterson show that based Benny Johnson, I will add, based memer Benny Johnson, TPUSA, told everybody to live in beautiful places. It changes you. I wonder if that's true. Huh. They're going after Clarence Thomas, the one true justice, the one unswayable, unshakable justice, and they're acting like he can be swayed by the money and cool vacations that rich billionaire man takes him and his wife on because he loves to live around and be with and hang out with and have the paraphernalia of living history people. On a scale of 1 to 10, I don't do that with ladies. Or maybe, I don't know. I'm getting agitated personally bothered by these agitators, these traffic blocking environmentalists whom the mainstream media takes on, of whose side the mainstream media takes, on whose side the mainstream media is, whatever you want to call it. There's some nutty states getting rid of male and female. Just, oh my goodness, the insanity. There's this evil, cute lady, KJP. I do find her mild attractiveness remarkable. Karine Jean-Pierre, French black gal, who's degenerate, promoting degeneracy like it's this sweet, harmless, wonderful thing to celebrate. Ridiculous, so dumb. Daily Mail is trying to ambush Tucker Carlson with some questions, pepper some questions. Tucker Carlson recently fired from Fox News. And your calls, guys. And by the way, the TSA got touched back. I disavow touching the TSA back. The TSA touches people sometimes, right? Some people don't like to be touched by the TSA, Transportation Security Administration. I'm smirking at this story. And black, I'm speculating. I'm pretty sure black, 19-year-old lady, and I may be using the term loosely, assaulted 3 TSA members. Totally unprovoked. No, I don't know. And it became a story. CNN has this story, has the news. TSA, have they stopped anything other than, they haven't even stopped thefts because they can't stop their people from stealing your stuff sometimes, right? Do they steal your stuff sometimes ever? Maybe. They don't hire the best people. Anyway, all that and your calls, guys. Some of you already on hold, so let's get right on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. I am wearing one of my favorite t-shirts. I've had it forever. I got it probably 10 years ago after listening to the Jesse Lee Peterson show and watching it, because we were even streaming on the Bond Action website. I say they were streaming on the Bond Action website. I was a fan and listener of the JLP show. And there was this kid, young man, boy, who wore this shirt, but it had cut off sleeves, right? Some of you guys want me to cut off the sleeves. One person, probably the rest of you don't. He wore it to school as this NRA t-shirt. It says, "Protect your right." You probably can't read it. National Rifle Association. The Based Rhino National Rifle Association. Rhinos aren't based, by the way. I'm purposely being facetious because NRA is not based enough. So, yeah, he got sent home, told to not wear his shirt to school because it has a rifle on it. Also known as a gun, a long gun. And it was such an outrageous story that I bought it in honor of that young man, and I became a lifetime member of the NRA because this was under the Obama administration, and liberals running the schools even 10 years ago. That's right. Acting like guns are not appropriate, but yet they'll promote the gender mess and fake racism mess, instill anger, a false anger in the blacks and false blame of the whites, and of men, and treat boys like girls, like they're supposed to sit still all day. Stupid. So I bought this shirt, and it's 100% cotton, I believe, which means it doesn't stink quickly like polyester does when you body odor in it. I don't think it's fair to call it body odor if it's the polyester that stinks worse because of the bacteria. Anyway, I will get to your super chats, guys. I do see them coming in. I'll skip the Gen Z for now. Let me get to a call. I don't feel like listening to these annoying young whippersnappers. David in Ocala, Florida is on the line again. David, thanks for calling, man. How you doing?
Happy birthday.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, I appreciate you taking my call again. You know, after I was on the other day, I looked in some of the chats, and people said there's no way I was 57. One person said I was an 18-year-old grandpa, and the other one said I was 13.
Right. No,
So
there's some guys with I guess you could call it a high-pitched voice or a young-sounding voice. I've heard men who sound kind of like that. So anyway.
Well, the chicks love it, man, let me tell you.
Do they?
Yeah, so check this out. I'll prove it to you a little bit. I'll prove it to some of them. You know that you had a guy on about that book or something yesterday about bend over and all that in the school.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So when I was in the first grade in 1971, I had a music class, and I come to class one day, and they said, they told all the children, they said, hey, we can't sing Jeremiah was a bullfrog anymore because he had some mighty fine wine, so we can't turn y'all into alcoholics.
Wow, that's
So
interesting. Different times, aren't they?
Yeah, you know, that's how far we've fallen, you know? We've fallen. So
it's true.
I didn't realize when I called in the other day that you were a believer, and this was like a show that talked about God and stuff. So
okay.
And so, you know, I knew Jesse Peterson talked about the children of the lie.
Yes.
And so the children of the lie is in the Bible. They're the tares, the wheat and the tares. Matthew 13. People can read it if they want. And it says the devil sowed them. Okay, so if you can figure out how the devil sowed these people, because they're unredeemable. I mean, babies are souls. Okay, and if you want to kill a 9-month, child coming out of the womb, I mean, you're messed up. Okay,
mm-hmm.
And the reason why that is because God has sent these people strong delusion. It says they'll to believe the lie. Now, that's really in the Great Tribulation, but that's one of those verses that is two-parted, multiverse, because that's what's wrong with these people. They believe the lie, like climate change, okay? The Word of God says they'll worship the creation instead of the Creator. So that's what they're doing.
That describes most of us, like worshiping. Like men worship women and their different desires and different things, and they're getting caught up with the world, and that's worshiping the creation rather than the Creator. I don't know if
truly, because
I don't know if Satan. I don't know if the devil sows people so much as he sows lies into the minds of people, into the hearts of people. He's the father of lies.
Yeah, he is the father of lies, but it says a man sowed good seed in his field, and while he slept, an enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way.
Right.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that he's sowing. That doesn't mean that he's creating, like the devil's making people. Like he's using the people he's using the people that God created, who became children of Satan.
Right. That's why they don't believe, they don't believe. What they need to do is read the Word of God, because the Bible is alive. It says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God.
Uh-huh.
And most people...
So you're saying the Bible is alive?
Oh, yeah. That Bible, that Word is that's a living Word. It's been before the foundation of the world. I mean, when Jesus spoke to the disciples after he spoke to the multitude, he told them, listen, that's not for them out there. This is for you. What I'm speaking to you is mysteries before the foundation of the world. Okay, so I know men wrote the Bible, but it was God-inspired, and it was it's just living. I mean, when you read it, don't you understand what I'm saying? What it does to you?
There's a lot in the Bible that rings true to me.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
in that sense, yeah, but I don't think that they're saying in the beginning was the word meaning the Bible. I wouldn't necessarily.
Well, I understand Jesus
because
was
people
called
get
the Word.
people get
He was-
caught
he
up.
was-
People get caught up in this intellectualism, and then they
Uh-huh.
end up worshiping the created rather than the creator.
Right. I understand what you're saying. But
So,
I'm just saying
so people
that.
end up worshiping the Bible or their false understanding of the Bible.
Right.
So this is
Well,
why.
that's why Jesus said, "I'm the way, I'm the truth, I'm the life." Okay, and it's like when Moses. Okay, watch this. When Moses got the 10 Commandments, he said to Moses, he said, "Who shall I say sent me?" And God said, "Tell him I am that I am." So when Jesus was telling them, "I'm the bread of life, I'm the good shepherd," that's what drove them Pharisees crazy, because they knew what he was talking about. Okay.
They didn't know what he was talking about, though. They listened to Satan.
Well, I understand that, but that's what got them crazy, because they knew he was saying, "I'm God."
No,
Okay,
they thought that he was, in their imaginations, he was saying that he was God.
Well, I understand that. They didn't get the revelation of who he was, and most people don't. You know why Jesus was able to do all those miracles and everything like that?
Why?
Because he's the one who spoke the world into existence. So everything had to come under his authority. Okay. So
No, I think that he was the son of the man of the God who spoke all that into existence. He said himself that he does nothing and says nothing except for what the Father gives him to say and to do.
I understand that. That's when he was down here in the flesh, but in
to this
Revelation, huh?
And to this day, he's obeys the Father.
Sure. In Revelation 4, though, the 24 elders are casting their crowns at his feet, and they don't cease day or night saying, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty, who was and is to come. And by your will you created all things, and by your will it exists." Okay? Think about it. Why can't... Anyway, so I don't want to get so far off on that.
You reminded me of I don't know if you heard my caller, Steve, in Dallas, Texas, a couple of days ago.
Yeah, that was like yesterday or so.
No, it was 2 days ago, actually.
Oh,
yeah, somebody called in.
Art
yesterday called in about Steve from
from
Dallas. So Art was addressing Steve, but I put out Steve's clip 2 days ago from my show 2 days ago on, I guess that was Monday. Because Steve called in talking about reparations and blacks and being abused by whites, supposedly. And he had all this knowledge and jumping from point to point without me being able to pin him down on one thing. That reminds me of what it's like talking with you. Like you're just plowing through and just continuing on meandering with all of this, biblical quotes. He wasn't quoting the Bible. He was quoting his communist learning. But it's the same type of mind. So I think the devil is sowing his seeds even in most of us Christians. So we don't know.
Well, he tries to.
No, he definitely does. He successfully does it.
Yeah.
I think that you should really pause and calm down and check yourself. You were upset how these blacks are acting
Killing
crazy
people.
and hating whites.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't get to you. But
I'm doing better now because
today you're preaching the Bible, and some of it's, I don't think it sounds quite right.
Well,
and so I think that you're
agree.
sort of scatterbrained and angry and got to check yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll get off the religion and jump on the climate change real quick because I know you got to go.
I disavow any climate denial for the sake of my channel. I don't know if you're.
I understand.
I don't know if you're familiar with the censorship going on. Yeah, they're gonna.
Really?
We get Wikipedia tags, which is not the worst thing in the world to get a Google fact check note on my video. I don't care about that much, but we get censored like crazy over something that doesn't even matter. You know, like we're talking about,
Yeah.
oh, it's not real, which nobody knows I don't think anybody really, a lot of people don't really know the whole truth about the climate because it's something that's kind of unknowable. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like it's
Yeah.
outside of your expertise. And that's why what the communists do. They go outside of your area of expertise and assert something to keep you back on your heels.
Well, I spent a lot of years researching some of this stuff, and when I was younger, I didn't understand what I'm telling you. So I'm not saying it. I'm just saying the Word of God is right. So I'll prove this to you.
Okay.
What are these people going to think? Okay, when he burns up a third of the grass and all the trees. He's going to torch this place. So they're going to, that's not going to make them happy. And another thing is,
That's written in Revelation that God is going to do that?
Yeah. Going to burn up a third of the trees and all the grass, smokes them, plus turns the water to blood because they, it's going to be nasty for them.
I don't know if that's even true, man. Like, I don't necessarily
read the Bible.
I've read it. And I haven't come to the same conclusion that you have.
Okay.
So, like, I don't know if it's good to assert stuff what the Bible says, like what it's true. I think you should leave some of this stuff as an I don't know. You might be right about this particular thing, but it sounds like you've read the Bible and researched it and are assuming to know what it means, when in reality you're jumping to a conclusion that may not be what it really is saying.
Well, one day we'll all find out, won't we?
Not
there's
necessarily.
Two judgments. Because there's
a lot
two judgments.
A lot of us are going to die long before we find out what Revelation really meant.
Well, you're either going to be judged at the bema seat of Christ in heaven, or you're going to be judged at the white throne judgment. Okay, so there's two of them. But
Man.
Do you know what the first scripture is in the Bible? The very first verse is. Do you know what that is?
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Right.
Right on, baby. And so I'm not speaking for
Gold
God.
star
But
for
could
Hake.
you imagine these atheists? Okay, these atheists that he could say to them, folks, what is the first thing I wrote in the Bible is. First thing in my word is in the beginning was I created the heavens and the earth. I mean,
but I don't know. Like you don't necessarily know what God will say to the atheist.
I know. That's why I said I don't know. I don't know. But he could. Okay.
But there's a more relevant verse for you and me. Like Jesus will say, "Away from me, I never knew you."
Right.
Because we're all spouting off our fallen state misunderstandings of the religion of God, which is Christianity. But we're not living it. So I don't care about judging the atheists. You know what I mean?
I know. I got you. But you want to know why the reason he tells them I never knew you? Because they weren't baptized and born again, and he won't go against his word. It's like the 10 virgins. Why are 10 of them can't come in? 5 of them can't come in. He shuts the door on them, and he tells them, I never knew you.
Because they didn't keep watch. They were supposed to keep watch.
Right.
But you're not necessarily watchful. You're judging the atheists and the climate change hype people. You know what I mean? And the blacks.
they're the children of the lie.
But But what about you?
I'm born again and baptized, and I'm redeemed by the blood of the Lamb.
How do you know this?
Because he lives in me.
How do you know that he lives in you?
Because when I was 13, I prayed to him and I asked him to forgive me of my sins, and that I believe that he died for my sins and that he rose from the dead. Would you please come live in my heart? And when I did that on the floor of my bedroom when I was 14, it was like a lightning bolt hit me in my chest, ran all through me, shot through my fingers. I jumped up off the floor about freaked out, man, because what you don't know about me is I started smoking cigarettes when I was 10 years old. First time I got high, I was 10 years old. First time I got drunk, I was 10 years old.
Dang.
Yeah, I caught the tail end of the hippie era. it was acceptable behavior. You
Yeah,
know?
what a wild life. You never know what people have been through. So you're one of those born agains, as my friends have talked about, those born agains who lived a mess and then they were delivered from it, from drinking and drugs.
Dude, I stuck a needle in my arm when I was about 18 years old. About to kill myself.
Too graphic. At 18, you said?
Yeah.
But you were born again at 13 or 14, you said.
It shows you how the devil wanted to kill me.
Right. And now he has you a comfortable slave.
Huh?
And now he has you a comfortable slave.
No, I'm not a comfortable slave because I don't smoke. I don't gamble no more. I used to gamble. I did everything. I don't.
Right, but
I'm not perfect.
But that's the life of a lot of atheists too. Haven't you noticed? There's a lot of atheists or secular type people who no longer drink or smoke and have gotten past that stuff, and they're not perfect.
But do they believe? Have they asked for forgiveness? Have they asked God to come into their heart? Have they seeked Him? Okay?
But those things aren't in the Bible to ask God for forgiveness and ask Him into your heart. Those things aren't in the Bible.
Well, it says you got to repent and be baptized and born again. It does say that.
It does say those things.
Repenting. Yeah, sure. So I'm not saying I'm better than anybody because I'm not. Okay. But I know because I've literally been in the presence of God, okay, a couple of times. So I know.
What's that like, being in the presence of God a couple of times?
Was
that the 14-year-old or 13-year-old, whichever one?
No, actually, one time I went over to some people's house. Okay, this is getting deep on you, man. I went over to these people's house. They were older people. There was 5 of us, okay, and they started singing and praising God. And I'm sitting there thinking, man, if anybody would have told me I'd be in these people's house, I'd tell them, no way. Well, this was going on, man, for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, and all of a sudden, about an hour and 15 minutes, the presence of God showed up in these people's house so thick I melted like butter and fell on my face. Okay? I think, you know what? Mm-hmm. I think God wanted me to call just to talk to you about some of this stuff, so you could just, whether you ever speak to me again or I ever call the show. I mean, I really dig.
No, I like your calls. You're fine, man.
Okay, well, I'm questioning
it because I hear this stuff a lot, and I've heard it a lot all my life.
He's trying to reach you.
But is he trying to reach you?
Of course, he's trying to reach me every day. The latest thing, you know what he showed me?
Yes.
He's causing this, okay? God is
No. Stop.
Oh yeah, he is.
No, I'm talking about let's not get off on another rant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm talking about the transgender stuff, the kids being out of control, the drag queens in the schools.
But this type of sitting here, I like to talk about that stuff a lot. I talk about it a lot, right?
Uh-huh.
How insane the liberals are. But the conservatives are lost. The Christians, the conservatives are lost as well. That's why we're losing the country.
I agree. It's like, I'll leave you with this.
Okay, go ahead. Last point.
Yeah, last thing. I feel this country's been going downhill ever since Kennedy, okay? And right after that, they took prayer out of school. And let me show you how powerful God is. The woman who got prayer taken out of school, Madeleine Murray O'Hare, you know what happened to her?
Really? That was a woman who did that, huh?
Yeah, she ended up buried in a desert. Guy killed her, 1995.
Terrible.
Stole $600 worth of coins from her son and her granddaughter and her, and took her out into a desert and buried her. And she started the thing, American Atheists. God don't play.
Madeleine Murray O'Hare.
Yeah, Madeleine Murray O'Hare. Look her up.
Wow. See, this is why I like to listen to Gen Xers and Boomers, because although I question some of the stuff that you guys say, and we should question ourselves, right?
Right on.
You bring some interesting information. You have a little bit of wisdom there, or something, or interesting facts.
Right, so now people can't say I'm 18 and 13 years old.
They'll still say it. Don't worry, man. People are going
I
to
think
talk.
that was the greatest thing in the chats, man. This one guy, I'm like reading that. I'm like, oh, my God, 13. One person wrote, I think I told you, 18-year-old grandpa.
What was your point about her death?
She took prayer out of school.
No, I know that. She took prayer out of school, and then she died of violent and evil death and was buried in a desert, right?
The point is you don't mess with God, okay? You don't go doing stuff like that. You don't try to hinder you don't mess with that word, okay? You don't mess with him. He will take you out. Okay?
You think that was God's doing that she got murdered?
No, I think he just allowed it. The devil took her out.
Yeah, the
It's
devil
just
in somebody possessed somebody to kidnap and murder her, according to you and Wikipedia.
Right, right on, man.
But
listen,
that type of
I
stuff.
appreciate you taking my call again. Man.
Yeah,
really
I appreciate you. This is interesting call. You do. How long you been listening to our stuff?
I just found you the other day. I told you I called in.
JLP
I thought I was going to leave a message on the Jesse L. Peterson show.
Okay.
And your guy picked up and he said I told him and he said, well, Hake's going to be on if you want to talk to him. I said Hake, right?
Yep. That's correct.
Hake's going to be on. And I said, okay, I'd love to go get on there. And then I was on, man. And then I was thinking about this stuff, and I listened to a couple of your shows, and I realized that you're a believer and everything like that. And I said, well, let me call this guy up and talk to him about some of the things that I believe, and that type of thing. So,
yeah, always. Well, feel free to call me again sometime. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll give you a break. Hey, I watched your show last night, the whole show and everything like that. I really. Let me ask you something. Are you like around like 35 to 40 or something? How old are you?
Roughly, I'm 41 and a half.
Okay, I knew you were probably right around there. So
probably like 41 and 3/4, to be honest.
So because your birthday's July 17th.
Right.
So,
how did you remember that?
Of course, I'm great with numbers, man. I got a killer memory. So,
he's white. You're white, right?
What generation is that? Yeah, I'm white.
I'm actually Gen Y, millennial, but I'm borderline Gen X. I'm almost Gen X, like you. I think you're Gen X, right?
Yeah, see, I'm the last year of the baby boomer, 65.
Oh, you're a boomer.
I barely got in.
Okay.
Yeah, I barely got in because I'm December 8th. Okay.
I was almost Gen X. I grew up for 17 years or 16 years. I grew up thinking I was Gen X, but in reality, I was Gen Y. I found that in government and economics class, senior year of high school. There's such a thing as Gen Y, which is the so-called millennials. So.
And what are these crazy kids now?
Well, there's Zoomers who are mostly adults now, and then there's Generation Alpha, maybe? Are they Alpha? The little kids.
Is that kid, like that kid you had on, the kid that was on the phone that was talking about Biden and all that? That's them, right?
That was a Gen Z, a Zoomer.
That's a Zoomer?
Yeah. Gen Z.
They look like somebody went and scooped their brain out and put another brain in there.
Yeah.
Like the girl from the Anheuser deal,
Oh, yeah. She's actually my age, I think, roughly. Or a little bit younger. I think she's a millennial. Yeah. But yeah, she's
gone. She's
brainless. Gone. Yep, terrible.
Well, listen, you have a great day. Listen, God bless your show.
Thank you, man.
I'll pray for your show. I'll pray for you. And I'll give you a break. I'll call you back in a month. How's that?
Well, don't put a time on it. As the Spirit leads you, David. You could
you
can call
me.
Okay. You can call me every day if you want to. But
I don't want to do that to your show.
Well, I appreciate that.
I got more respect for you. I get that. You notice I didn't talk over you like a lot of people do and all that. No,
True.
No.
Thanks, man. Take care.
Hey, have a great day.
All right. Adios.
God bless you. All right. Bye-bye.
David in Ocala, Florida. Ocala. What's a name like that? Ocala. It sounds... Is that American Indian? Or is it a Hispanic name? Or what? They don't want to say. Not offhand. I just searched it on Google, which is evil. Well, since he brought that up, let me show you this before I get back to calls. Gen Z for Biden. Are they trolling me? Clip 35. 35. I have this new numbering system. Chris D. Mowrey, or Mowrey, Mowrey. And he shares this on Twitter with no comment, just promoting Biden, a Gen Zer, 24 seconds long. It sort of reminds me of... I spit a little bit. Sorry, JLP. I'm on his network. I don't purposely spit in his studio. Just when I talk, saliva flies when I sing. Here's... It sort of reminds me of Destiny, though. His plugs of Biden, which sound so phony and just rattling off information about what he and his administration and the evil people in Congress did, quote unquote. Here's this.
I'm riding with Biden in 2024. Inflation Reduction Act, American Rescue Plan, CHIPS Act, lowest unemployment in 54 years, gun reform, largest investment on climate in history, largest investment on mental health in history, huge investments in infrastructure. This guy has been phenomenal, and as it stands right now, he is the choice for president in 2024.
Terrible. He reminds me of the Terminator 2 guy, Judgment Day. You know, that effeminate guy with the hair in his face? It's a cool hairstyle. I used to think it was cool as a kid. But they were promoting effeminate guys who looked sort of with their hair in their face. All long-haired. I'm looking at it on delay on the Twitter. I watch the Twitter feed. Haven't seen the spittoon in a long time, says Lady Seesaw. He ain't black, says So Sugino. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking that some of these whites... And shout out to the whites. You know I love you if I love anybody. And I don't know if this is a normal white. Normal whites are not Democrats, although some of the younger ones, you can cut him some slack. He's probably 20 or something like that. Like the 20-year-old young man, and I use the term man loosely, whom I showed you guys yesterday. I may show another clip of his. But I forget where I was. I was talking about T2 Judgment Day with that guy. John Walker or whatever his name is. It's not Walker. Anyway, he looked cool. He's trolling, says Mead Music. You think so? No, according to he's a Gen Z Democrat passionate about change. A TikToker, Chris.Mowrey or Mowrey, whatever. I spelled it out for you. He even lists his email address. Interesting. Normal whites are not normal nowadays. Oh, yeah, I started to get off on the whites. They seem, and this is hate too, probably, being like extra, which is a black word or a woman word, or I don't like using the term extra, but I know no other word for it. Over the top, let's say. Extra is such a good word, even though I don't like it. It sounds effeminate. My resident thesaurus, Hassan, is there a better word for extra? He's so extra.
I mean, sometimes we say OD.
OD, like overdosing?
Yeah.
That's another black word. I shouldn't
it's
have
definitely
preferred.
black, but it feels, I guess, maybe a little more masculine.
Right, yeah. He's ODing on hype. Like, I think it's kind of fake. I think it's put on. Hake does this too. I shout. People say I'm copying Jesse, and I kind of am. But I'm trying to be entertaining, right? Because I can't just be talking my normal voice. I wonder if I could. I could probably get away with just talking in my normal voice. It's not my normal voice. But just to hold the attention of the people. And I felt like the first 3 or 5 seconds of that clip, I was already annoyed, and I turned it off. I hesitated to even play this for the people. Probably I lost a significant percentage of my audience by playing that clip. And the way I present myself. Because I shout, because we don't have that natural entertainment value to us. Like, we don't have that natural God-given brilliance that some of the blacks and the Jewish people have. Jews. Yeah, so OD is the best you come up with.
I don't know, OD, maybe like sometimes, I mean, that kid seemed like he was spazzing a little bit.
Right. Ooh, that's a hate word. You have to change your lyrics.
Sorry.
Remember Lizzo and
that's
another lady, Beyonce,
that's true.
literally had to change their lyrics.
That's true.
And reissue the song. And apologize because spazzing is short for spastic or something like that, and that's showing discrimination
Yeah.
to the mentally ill people who actually literally do have spastic fibrosis or something like that.
Yeah, probably just stick with extra.
Yeah. Oh man, terrible. Joel Friday, I appreciate his. I don't know. I don't like the word shameless, calling him that, but I appreciate his just unapologetically black and slightly like the younger generation doesn't mind talking a little bit girlish.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I got extra from Joel Friday TV on Tuesdays. Like he used different words that I don't use. He says stuff that I don't use.
Yeah.
That I don't dare say that because I don't want people to question my masculinity or something. But he doesn't mind saying it. And he grew up that way. He's just part of the younger generation. Blacker, definitely. And I feel like the younger generations are more girly, too. But they're not, it's not an effeminate necessarily girly. It's just like they don't know better than to talk this way. And that's what that young man reminds me of in the video that I just showed. Joel, just like his mama, says Ned Post. Yeah. So he's passionate about change, whatever that is. Not good change. Young people, man. Blind, brainwashed masses. It's like the young blacks who participated in the so-called civil rights movement. The older people, some of them knew better. Were like, this is not good. You're rocking the boat, and sometimes it's wise not to rock the boat. And also, it's misguided. Younger generations of the Asians, they get caught up in these rallies, and it's just communists versus communists, you know? So these young guys, I can't really believe it feels like he was, in my imagination, I imagine this Chris D. Mowrey was fed this information about these things that Joe Biden did. Investments in mental health, investments in the stuff, blah, blah, blah. Gregatron with some wisdom. Hake, they're just words. Say what you want to say. Sleepy Joe and the Democrats and the rhinos pouring money into different things doesn't mean that those are good things. Reminds me of Destiny's saying stuff. Destiny said different things that Biden did, and it was wrong. It was like all wrong stuff or stuff that sounds nice, but it's not good. Let me play this other Gen Zer, this 20-year-old, before I get back to calls, guys, and super chats. Here's that guy yesterday that I played him yesterday, Sisson, Sisson. I'm blanking on his first name. I could probably pull it up. Harry Sisson. He's that Trump hater man. Harry Sisson. This was shared by a young lady, Ashley St. Clair, who's more conservative. And she makes me cringe, too. Cringing is effeminate. It's true. I'm adopting all this language and stuff from the Gen Zers and the effeminate people. Effeminate, even conservatives. Cringe? Give me a break. I don't like that word. But I can't help it. It's time to bring back bullying these kids. And they're not kids. They're not children. They're adults. Here's a 13-second clip of this guy talking about guns, and you're part of the problem if you support guns, which these people are not shooting up anybody or raising kids who are shooting up anybody, even though they're not raising the kids well. Here's the clip. Clip 34, my bad.
Look, America has a sickness, and that sickness is our obsession with guns. If you're someone who opposes gun control, or has 50-plus guns in your household, or is giving guns to your 2-year-old children, you're part of the issue, and I have no problem saying that.
I guess that's his signature tagline. And I have no problem saying that. Ridiculous. He said the same. He said Tucker is racist, sexist, homophobic, and he's a bad person. And I have no problem saying that. I'm celebrating Tucker Carlson getting fired. Stupid. Oh, sorry, kids. Don't say stupid. Anyway, I shouldn't laugh at my own jokes, I guess. And that there was a woman, if you're not watching the clip, there was a woman named Ashley St. Clair, who's a young lady, and I may be using the term loosely, who was lip syncing this man saying that and talking all girly and almost black with the gestures. Girls do talk a little bit black when they get attitude. Yeah, true. Ridiculous. But I don't like her. I'm not sure if I really like her doing that. These women, these young ladies, getting all influencer on us, uppity. I stole that from the chat. Based America First. I got to read some super chats. Bring back bullying of these kids. And they're not kids. This guy's 20 years old. I forgot his name already, Sisson. And he's dumb about the gun stuff. Senseless, as the Bible says, senseless, faithless, heartless, ruthless. It's shameful. I'm shaking my head. But yeah, that's the Gen Zers. And we look down on these people, and we were pretty dumb ourselves. And yeah, they're like brainwashed on top of brainwashed. They're standing on the shoulders, almost said soldiers, of giant R words. I shouldn't say R words. Terrible. Get what I'm saying? They're like, we're stupid, and then they're mega ultra stupid. But they're not stupid in different ways that we are stupid. Everybody got their different, unique stupidities. Yeah, we're all different, but yet the same. To God above us, to stand together now. Dun. Shout out to the Gen Zers. We love you. If we love anybody, including the boomers and Gen Xers and Gen Y and whoever else. Alphas. Let me get to William in California on the line. People on hold. Hang tight. William in California, thanks for calling. What's up?
Hey, man, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. We don't have to. I assume you got my email, and if you did, all you have to do is just give me a sign. And I agree with you about a lot of things on this show and this platform.
Cool.
And I respect what you do. I agree with you about the other things that I just, like I said, I think you did get my email, but a couple of things. Today's anniversary of what's his name? They killed Lincoln Booth.
Oh, John Wilkes Booth. It's an anniversary of his assassination or something. Wow.
Of his death.
Oh, of his death.
Yeah. Right.
Was he executed? What happened with John Wilkes Booth?
Oh, they tracked him down and found him in a tobacco barn.
Oh, and they killed him.
And the Union soldiers tracked him down and they killed him.
Wow.
For assassinating Lincoln.
Yeah. Interesting, man.
Yeah. And
I see a few emails from you. They look like tips. Did you send it to the Hake Report at gmail.com or?
I didn't because I actually forgot that, but
no
I put an at for you
okay.
because of something that I just absolutely, you and I both do not agree on.
Okay.
And it's the caller battles. Don't agree with that.
Oh, right on.
Don't agree with that. Yeah, I don't agree with that. I don't address women in the wrong way. I respect women.
Yeah.
I don't argue with women because I tell them when they try to argue with me, you cannot overpower me, and you need a man to deal with me.
Okay.
So I don't address women like that in a negative way. I did the little test about the women's hair, and I asked my girlfriend. I called her. I said, I said, sweetheart, your hair looked really nice last weekend when you came over. She said, thank you. And I said, who did you do that for? And she told me, she said, I look cute for you.
Oh, nice.
So women do get their hair done to impress their men.
Yeah, it's not just for other women. Like another.
Not just for other women.
Yeah,
they may be in competition.
Right.
You know what I mean, James?
True.
They might be in competition, but they look nice for men.
Right.
You know, especially women that are real women.
Yep. True.
You know. So their hair test came out positive. Yes, we do. For the most part, most women do their hair to impress men.
Yeah. Interesting.
If they're real women, if they're real women, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, it is. The Antioch story up here in the Bay Area.
Yeah, I covered that yesterday where it used to be a mostly white town, and now there's a lot of blacks and maybe Hispanics in there. And then there was like an FBI probe, and there's lawsuits by, I guess, 5 black supposed victims who say they've been suffering racism from the police because there was racist text messages sent and received by 45 out of 99 officers in Antioch, California, up in North.
So?
Yeah.
I mean, here, look. Do you remember? I know you've heard this term. What's not South Central, but Compton. Didn't you hear Compton used to be all white?
I mentioned that. I don't know it specifically, but I assume that it used to be white. I feel like I heard that it used to be white.
A lot of fruit trees and stuff. Yeah. And then when some people, moved out of L.A. to get out, get their families away,
right?
A lot of blacks started moving into Compton, probably in the 60s.
Okay.
Well, Antioch is seeing the same dynamics. Antioch had a flux of a lot of black people from Oakland, Berkeley, San Francisco, Daly City. A lot of the Bay Area blacks moved to Antioch.
Okay.
To get away from all of the crime of the cities. And Antioch is sitting there right by Concord, Walnut Creek, all of that. And during the 90s, when they were giving home loans to people who had no business having these homes, and they in other words, they may have not behaved incorrectly, but their children were out of control.
Yeah, right. That's the thing.
Right.
That reminds me of, if you'll allow me to have a strange interlude. I had a conversation with Tom Jump, on gun control, and I happened to talk about the illegals or the immigration. And he said, immigrants commit less crime than normal Americans. Well, I should hope.
You're delusional.
For one, I should hope so, because we should be choosy about who we let in. But two, their children don't follow the law as much as they themselves do. Their children turn radicals, radical Muslim, and commit. On rare occasion, they turn radical Muslim.
With all due respect to him, you have to think about who you're talking about. You're talking about undocumented people, so their status ain't going to be there anyway.
True. Yep. Yeah. There's all kinds of dishonesty at every level, and so there's an undercount there. I had a conversation with, I don't know if you probably didn't, Matthew with 1 T from Caught in the Middle. His YouTube channel, he interviewed me again last night about the Tucker situation, and he mentioned at the end that black crime seems to be going down, and I don't know if that's true. I think that the counting...
That is not true.
I think the counting of it is going down. Like, they're undercounting it.
Yes.
And they're cooking the books. And for another thing, there is one thing that I do think it has happened over the years. Violent crime was crazy in the 70s, 80s, 90s, right? It has gone down, and I suspect in part because they made men more effeminate in many different ways. Our T levels are much lower, and it's kind of like castrating, fixing a pit bull to make it calmer. Like you cut off, the sorry, kids. Sorry, ladies. But you fix a dog to make it calmer. And I think that that's what they've done to the people. That's my conspiracy theory, is they've made men less testosterone-ish, and so we're less violent, but we're more effeminate and evil than ever.
More yeah, listening to their wives and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, I smell them a mile away. I had a cousin that come and visit me about some family business, and herself, her husband, and her son, who just graduated from UC Davis, and I was like, oh boy, a UC school.
Yeah.
You're stupid. And where do you work? FedEx. And you went to college for 4 years to work at FedEx?
Interesting point.
Okay.
Yeah, why'd you even go to school? Oh, shameful.
Right.
Terrible.
So his mother is sitting there lying about some family business, and I straightened her out about it and said, this is not true. It goes like this and that and the other. She got a little uncomfortable when I told her the truth. Similar to Tucker Carlson. When you tell the truth about something, people kind of turn their nose up at you.
Right.
And she tried to get a little antsy. I'm walking down the hallway in my home, and I said, you need a man to deal with me, cuz. And that man is sitting next to you, and he didn't say one word, the punk that he is.
Ooh.
Okay? As long as he's been in our family and married to you, I've always seen him follow you.
Oh,
So I don't have too much respect for the dude.
Yeah.
Antioch was white.
Right.
Similar to Compton.
Wow.
And the blacks moved out there. And it's not that the blacks moved out there and it's just going to automatically be bad. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
You still have a lot of parents out here that are good parents, but they just got bad kids.
Yeah, and because they're not raising them quite right, and it goes from bad to worse.
Yeah. You know, they moved them out there during the time of when they started talking about this term that everybody kind of skipped over. It's called redistributing the wealth. Nobody hardly knows what that means.
Yeah.
There's not too many people that really realize what that is. Yeah. So
they're redistributing ghettos and poverty and evil. Right. And this immigration stuff was so wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard an old I uploaded an old clip from Asmodor called into my show, and he talked about his experience with his father and family and his hometown, where the first black who moved in, his father moved them out, and he went back to that town, and it turned, the crime took over because there's no correction for the blacks.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, I grew up in San Francisco.
Uh-huh.
So I know what's going on the ground down there. I remember this being a very beautiful town, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I live in the outskirts. I'm in Manteca now, and so I'm way away from it. But I do have income property, 4 pieces of income property out there.
Right. Yeah.
And my take a look at my financial portfolio because I'm sitting there collecting rent, and of course you don't want to get your taxes all messed up.
Right, of course.
And she told me, she said, you've done a pretty good job because you've protected your home that you bought yourself and anything that was inherited to you through your father. You've protected it through your living trust. That's the magic words that a lot of us black kids used to hear about, living trust, when we were kids. We didn't really know what they were.
Yeah.
But they protected you with taxes and different stuff like that.
Okay.
So she said you've done a good job by keeping things business.
Okay.
And staying away from public housing agencies. I don't rent to those people.
Oh, nice. Good.
And it's my choice.
You're lucky that you're able to decline that in the state of California.
I mean, I'm only 62, James. I am not old enough to retire.
Yeah.
But I did because I looked at which one was going to pay me more.
Yeah.
Waiting till I'm 65 and maybe die before then, or get my wealth now and enjoy my wealth now. So I'm not here to give my wealth to anybody like one of your callers was talking about reparations. You ain't getting any.
Yeah.
Like this woman told me, you protected yours from that because redistributing the wealth, there's a lot of different ways to do that. And what you're hearing in Antioch has a lot to do with that. What they're doing is they're getting on the bandwagon and listening to this lie about reparations in San Francisco from London Breed. And across that bridge over in Antioch, those particular blacks that they're talking about getting beat up and all of that stuff by the cops and these text messages, there's a news flash. Black people, white people do not have to like you.
You know,
there's no constitution.
Right. It was so rich hearing one of them say, oh, some of these blacks left Oakland to escape police brutality. I'm like, yeah, right. You're leaving
Well, if
Oakland
you look
to
at the
escape
people that
police
are coming
brutality.
forward in Oakland or Antioch, if you really look at them, you're all beat up by the police and everything. For what reason? How did you get engaged with the police
Right.
to even get treated that way?
Exactly, I know. There's
So
no
when we get
honesty.
to screaming and hollering about what about the whites and talking about racism, you don't get to address the actual problem.
I know.
How did you get stopped and end up beat up? Because, you know, blacks got a real problem with resisting arrest.
Yeah.
Listening to Black Lives Matter, talking about you know your
True.
rights. Actually, you don't know your rights.
Yeah. William, I appreciate it,
So-
man. Great call. We're past the top of the
Appreciate you
hour.
too,
I got to
man.
keep running. Take care, man.
Yeah, you got to get that music in there. I keep telling you to play some Clapton, but
I
you got
know.
some good music this last couple of days. What's the name of that group? Petra?
Yeah, Petra means rock.
They're pretty good.
I like them too, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Cool.
They're pretty good.
All right, take care.
All right, bro.
All right.
Take care.
I will get back to your calls, guys. Let's play some Petra. This is from the 1995 album, No Doubt. Not to be confused with the band, No Doubt, led by Gwen Stefani, a woman. Shout out to Gwen Stefani. Doesn't seem very Christian. But anyway, she might be a normal white regardless. But this song is the eponymous? I don't know, whatever. This is the title track. This is entitled No Doubt, track 4 on the 1995 album. I was listening to it my freshman year of high school before I discovered Christian punk. Petra, No Doubt. It's a nice song, okay? It's nice. It's Christian, guys. And it's straight. Anyway, I'll be right back. Enjoy, guys. Or press mute, or cover your ears and sing La La La, or grin and bear it, you musical Philistines. I'll be right back for hour 2. No Doubt by Petra.
There are times when you feel like you can't go on. There are times when you feel like giving in. And there are times when you feel like you can't try anymore. There are times of trouble in believing. This test of your faith will last as long as it takes to pass. Do you have no more doubt you'll endure? And your faith will emerge true and pure. No doubt it'll be alright. With God it'll all work together for good. No doubt in the end it will be understood. No doubt it'll all work out. With faith he can move any mountain for us. No doubt in the power of Jesus. And after all is done, we find out all we really need to have is no doubt. There's a time to take a reckless leap of faith. There's a time to be cautious and wait. And there's a way of learning from the past that this time of trouble won't last. And sometimes we want to think we know the ways he will choose to make us grow. But it's never the way of our choosing. doubt it'll be alright. With God it'll all work together for good. No doubt in the end it will be understood. No doubt it'll all work out. With faith it can move any mountain for us.
And look at the view.
No doubt in the power of Jesus. And after all is done, we find out all we really need to have is no doubt.
So good. God does not approve.
There will be winters in the seasons of our soul, with the cold and bitter wind that chills our lives.
Chills our lives.
But our faith can be building a fire
These ballads.
that will warm us till springtime arrives.
John Schlitt.
No doubt it'll be alright. With God it'll all work together for good. No doubt in the end it will be understood. No doubt it'll all work out. With faith it can move any mountain for us. No doubt in the power of Jesus. No doubt it'll be alright. Our God, he can move any mountain for us. No doubt in the power of Jesus.
So good.
And after all is done, we find out
Can I
what we
undonate?
really need to have is no doubt.
Mead Music says, I write better songs. Whatever, man.
No doubt.
Apples and oranges. All songs are equal. Shout out to Petra. Petra means rock. And that was a nice ballad. Falconing says, God does not approve. That's pretty funny, man. Can I undonate for this song? Says Africant Nation. Well, thank you guys for bearing with me through that beautiful music. Africant Nation said at one point, I thought it was over. Pretty great song, just saying, says Spoiler Alert. Yeah, I think you naysayers. I did notice there were fewer naysayers this chat. Maybe they fled, covering their ears and singing la la la. Somebody told me that Gwen Stefani is lily white Hake. All right, whatever. Her values don't seem normal Christian values. That was great, really, says Kaya in North Carolina. Yeah, I don't like the beginning, the ding, 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 ding. I'm not a fan of that part, but the drama of the song was nice. 90s was an amazing musical time. Indeed it was. I will be getting to your calls, guys and gals. You can call in. Some of you guys calling in and dropping off. Hake, fool me once, fool me every time. I got to read some super chats, guys. There were quite a few that came in on buymeacoffee.com/The Hake Report and on rumble.com/The Hake Report. Evil is still real, says he's wanted to undonate, by the way, for this, to not play the song, I guess. Petra, the official music brand of Bud Light. I should bleep it. Bleep light. Bleep light. Evil is still real. It says, Hake, are you suggesting we neuter black men to make them less violent? I'm suggesting that that's what they tried to do. And I think that it somewhat succeeded for a time. Very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah. No, I think they did that to all of us. Look at our T levels, supposedly. I'm seeing some people in the chat, the conspiracy theorist types. Shout out to the conspiracy theorists. I know it's a CIA slur, and I use it just like I use Joel Friday, girly, young people terms, Gen Z terms. I'm not saying it's a solution. I'm saying that's what happened. Maybe that's partly why the murder level rates are not as bad as during the so-called crack epidemic when they were selling drugs like super predators. No conscience, no empathy. I avow Hillary Clinton's statement calling these murderers super predators. Diabetes says, I used to drive like an angry mama, but I have slowed my roll, and now I have a peaceful ride to and from work. People drive like 90 going north, man. Yeah, Diabetes. Who also said Rumble needs to allow people to adjust the video quality manually. Podcasting the live stream with my screen off still uses a ton of data. Yeah, so I assume he or she, Diabetes, is who drove like an angry mama at one point, is talking about, I know that Cozy has an audio-only way to do it. I noticed that if I use my, let's show you this thing. So if I have my, I have my D Live going, and I have it playing. I don't have it playing. Let's say, man. So if I go like that and then close it, I can get it to play. Or you go full screen from a web browser and then shut it off and then pull down the thing and then hit play. I don't know. There's different ways to make it play when it's off. Or you can pay YouTube 12 or 13 or 10 or however many dollars a month to have YouTube Premium and then turn it off and then it'll still play. But it's weird. What a mess. There is other ways to play it, man. I think I'm played through the JLP Live player. So if you go to thehakereport.com or jlptalk.com, jasonleepeterson.com/show, you may be able to play the audio through there. Just an idea. There's probably different ways to play it where it's not using up all your data, Diabetes. Funny name. I disavow it. It feels mean. It feels insensitive to the true diabetes sufferers. Although maybe this person is a diabetes sufferer and he's making it a joke and he can do that. Hake being a mama. Evil is still real with a couple of more Rumble rants donations. The bad smell of body odor is not bacteria. It's actually the bacteria excrement, which is a bad word for poop, which is also a bad word. Terrible. It's not even a bad word. It's just, anyway. Thank you, Evil is still real. I think you're right about that. You're the biologist. You're the scientist. You're the know-it-all who knows that the earth is a ball, just like I do. But you know it through science, and I know it through observation and common sense. Anyway, thank you for the clarification. How do you teach blacks to count? Just like you teach them to read. One sentence at a time. Count one, guilty. Count two, guilty. Count three, guilty. I love to count. He didn't say, I just did that because I used to watch Sesame Street when it wasn't so obviously evil. Maybe it was obviously evil to the boomers or the older people than the boomers. Boomers showed me Sesame Street. I blame the boomers. But I love the boomers. Thank you. That was a cute racist joke, and the racist jokes are the funniest ones. Although evil is still real. Your racist jokes fall a little flat. Maybe. Shout out, though. Green_wall gave a diamond addressing my first caller today, whose name was, I think, David from Ocala, Florida. The Bible Thumper man. Shout out to David. Boomer. Young boomer. Some argue John's revelation is actually a warning. Interesting. Yeah, I feel that people read into it like it's talking about the future when some of it already happened, and then some of it may be a warning. Who knows? Yeah. Whew. Observation is the first step of science, Hake, says JS Urban Adventures, who some say has a nice YouTube channel. Somebody's like, Hake, I like you. I appreciate you because JS Urban Adventures is in the chat and his channel is great. Well, thanks a lot. I'm glad to help. Based America First bought a couple of coffees on buymeacoffee.com/The Hake Report. More than 4 billion gallons of raw sewage flows along the Tijuana River in Mexico. I didn't know there was a Tijuana River. And directly into the Pacific Ocean every month. No wonder people say, oh, the West Coast Santa Monica Beach, all these California beaches, they're dirty. Well, we can blame Mexico. They're not sending their best down the Tijuana River. Raw sewage, 4 billion gallons flows every month. New UCSD, University of California, San Diego, party school. No, I don't know if it is, probably. Research shows that sewage-polluted coastal waters transfer bacteria, viruses, and chemical compounds to the atmosphere's sea spray aerosol, formed by breaking waves and bursting bubbles. Green sick face emoji. Imperial Beach has frequently closed due to the contamination for decades. Now UC San Diego, which is down in southern California, not far from Mexico, like 30 minutes from Mexico. Well, San Diego is anyway. I don't know about UC San Diego, but they're down by Mexico, Tijuana. UCSD has discovered that the pollution covers the entire West Coast. So you guys are saying, oh, California's so dirty. I was like poo-pooing you guys saying that. You just saying that. It's supposed to be green. It's supposed to be dirty looking. That's normal. It's dirt. Sand is made out of dirt. Water has dirt in it. It's fine. But no, you guys are right. Thanks a lot, Mexico, Tijuana River. Researchers are swabbing lifeguards, surfers, and other beachgoers to determine the extent of exposure, so I better be careful. I walk through the beach. I go like ankle deep in the water, and maybe that's too much. But I'm pretty far north, but it's the entire West Coast, he says. Thank you for the warning, Based America First. He continues. Robert Knight, a professor of pediatrics, which is kids' doctor, right? Pediatrics, I think? Not to be confused with podiatrist, which is foot doctor, which I may need that too because I go ankle deep in the water. Computer science and engineering, also a professor of computer science and engineering at UCSD, Robert Knight said, it was a complete shock to find how much of microbes in the air were traceable back to sewage. And they're blaming Mexico. Typical. Blame Mexico. We had no idea that effect would be so strong. And he continues, homeless people also contribute to the problem by dumping their, get it, dumping? Sorry, kids, don't say that. Their raw waste into open waterways. A growing concern in states, and people blame Hake for drinking the tap water, saying tap water is dirty. LA tap water is untrustworthy. CNN tells me otherwise. Anyway, a growing concern in states with significant homeless populations, liberals. Mexico isn't sending their best effluent. I don't know if I want to look up that word. And then he gives a throw up face emoji, vomit emoji. I looked it up. Liquid waste or sewage discharged into a river or the sea. Oh, man. Gross. Well, thank you for the uplifting news. Thank you for the edification. Edify, don't tear down. Build one another up. Don't tear each other down. Your feet are not tanned, Hake. That's something else. And it's in the air. We're breathing it. Gross. Willie Powell bought me a coffee. Very nice conversation with Caught in the Middle last night. Yes, I appeared on Caught in the Middle. Matthew with 1 T interviewed me once again. High T Matthew with 1 T. High T, high testosterone Matthew, even though he's a young guy. My age, a little bit younger. I didn't mean to ask that dumb question at the end. Cheers. He has a lot of common sense, says Willie Powell. Right on, man. Yeah, we talked about Tucker Carlson's ouster by Fox News. Faux news. Indeed. And then we also talked about Trump and the DOJ, weaponization of the DOJ, and how the DOJ goes after the conservatives, but not the liberals under Biden and under Obama, and really under Trump. I didn't get to make that point. I forgot to. I didn't want to cut in, but his own deep state was against him. Terrible. Donald over on Facebook, shout out to the Facebook crew, and every boat dumps into the water. Where's your studies now? Yes. I did not know that. But think about it. How many billions of... 4 billion, more than 4 billion gallons of raw sewage every month from the Tijuana River in Mexico. Who knew? DJ On Paw with a diamond says, dumping? Exclamation mark, question mark. Hake, was that a poop joke? Oh, you got me. Terrible. I disavow. After the fact. Evil is still real says, sand is not made out of dirt, Hake. It's made out of quartz, silicon dioxide. I knew it was wrong. The moment I said it, I knew it was wrong even before I said it. Thank you for the correction. It's glass. It's broken glass ground into sand. Or sand is bunched together and heated up, turns into glass or something. One of those things. Thank you for the correction, Mr. Scientist. Evil is still real. You can call in 1-888-775-3773. That was like 13, 14 minutes worth of super chats. Here's something that Benny Johnson, based, and I use the term loosely, Benny Johnson tweeted. Clip 33. He said, good morning. Here is a family of baby stingrays. If they're all babies, how is it a family? And they're not even stingrays. Somebody called them cow rays. Maybe they're stingrays. Maybe they're cow rays. I've never heard of a cow ray. Maybe I have. Swimming peacefully together, unlike the non-broken families of some certain people not being peaceful together, tearing apart communities. And he says, he tweets, I filmed this on my run through Tampa yesterday. That's in Florida. Florida is wonderful. Live in beautiful places. It changes you, he says. Well, you're such a mama, Benny Johnson. Pots and kettles, right? Here it is. Clip 33. The footage. In the water, he's on a bridge, and it looks like leaves in the water. But no, if you look closely, it's those rays. Manta rays or stingrays. Or cow rays? That's not beautiful, that's scary. Ugh. Terrible. But kind of cool. In San Diego, you can touch these, or SeaWorld or somewhere, I don't know. Is that San Diego? You can touch those. I didn't touch it because they pulled the stingers off. That's what killed the alligator man, right? Crocodile man, hunter guy? Hassan is laughing. Terrible. Correct the record here, Hassan.
Steve Irwin.
Yeah, not Stone Cold. Steve Irwin, the crocodile. What's his name?
Yeah, the crocodile hunter.
Crocodile hunter. Oi, mate. No, he didn't say oi, but he's Australian. Crikey. He was very passionate. My friend's hero, my Asian friend.
Mine too.
Nice. Yeah, he would wrestle these crocodiles and be like, "Whoa, this is a big snake," and like he would handle snakes and reptiles, crocodiles, and talk to the. He was very what's the word? Charismatic. Talk to them. He was white, but he was Australian, which means criminal descendant, which means he's very entertaining. So he was very entertaining without being black or even Jewish, I don't think. Steve Irwin, not Steve Austin, yes. He was murdered by one, says Will Cole. Yeah, I mean, he did something crazy that he doesn't normally do, deal with sea animals, and one went into his heart, and he made the mistake of pulling it out of his heart. And when you pull it out of your heart, that's blood loss, and you're dying. Had he left it in his heart, he would have lived at least longer anyway. I don't know if he would have recovered from that. Maybe it was a fatal wound regardless. Maybe somebody else pulled it out of him. But yeah, he died. He was doing something that he normally doesn't do. He can handle all these crazy poisonous snakes, and you're not supposed to touch poisonous snakes because they can bite you. Or if venomous snakes, venomous. Poisonous is a plant. Plants have poison. Animals have venom that poison you, right? I think. But yeah, rest in peace, Steve Irwin. He died. That's the news from Hake News. All late. It stung him in the heart. It had a barbed thing that went into his heart, I think. From the story that I heard. Yeah.
And now his son took over and does exactly what he does.
Wow. Good for him.
He's like a spitting image. It's really crazy to see it.
Whoa. I guess I forgot that he had a young son then, huh?
Yeah.
Because his daughter was a little bit more grown and his wife, American, I think. Is his wife American?
I don't know. It's a good question.
But
I
she's
thought she
white.
was Australian too, but
Maybe she is. Maybe she is. I don't know. I'm blanking. It's kind of almost interracial if it's if it's an Australian from a whole different continent and American. But anyway. Hey, that was S-tier genius level analysis. What are you talking about? S-tier, as in stupid or smart? Or Steve tier? His kids are just as cool as he was. I may be confusing him with Bruce Lee's wife or widow. Because he married an American. He's an anchor baby, right? Wasn't he born in San Francisco?
Bruce Lee?
Yeah, Bruce Lee. I think he was born in San Francisco.
Wow.
He's part German, 1/4 German. So that's why he's so cool.
Ah.
No, I think that he is really 1/4 German or something like that.
So he's German and Chinese.
From Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I believe he was born in California, San Francisco.
Wow.
Yeah.
What an imposter.
Right. All those people targeting the white women, targeting our white women. Except for Hassan. Hassan doesn't target the white women.
I target the black.
You're right. Your mother's a white American, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
My father was targeting the whites.
Oh, yeah. All of us with white American women, many of us do not target our white American women to marry. Terrible. Messed up generations. Bruce Lee was born in China, says Afrikaans Nation, who is a scientist, so he would know history, too, better than Hake. Because Hake doesn't know history, he doesn't know science, he doesn't know anything. He doesn't even know music, except for Christian music, certain ones. Well, rest in peace. Shout out to Based Benny Johnson. I use the term loosely. He's from TPUSA. And it's interesting, the notion that it's beautiful places. You know, do you seek beautiful places? I like to go to beautiful Santa Monica alone. That's right. I was going to get to HAMZA, who said, "You go alone. Why don't you hang out with Hassan?" I don't know. When I'm hanging out by myself, I feel like being by myself.
I'm down. We should do the show from the beach one day.
Right, yeah.
A special beach edition.
Right. I have been doing beach streams. I don't know if you've caught any of my beach streams or seen them.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to show different things.
No, we should set up a tent and have Jesse, everyone do the show from the beach.
There was within my first year of working on the JLP show, we went down for Memorial Day, I guess, to San Pedro, also known as San Pedro. And that was visited the USS Iowa, and there were some radio hosts who were radio hosting from a tent in San Pedro.
Nice.
And I suppose JLP could have done that.
Yeah, field trip.
Yeah, totally. It's fun. So I don't know if it changes you, but it is something that the ego loves. You know, I think about how people who lose their abilities with their bodies to enjoy life, to move about. When I lost my abilities and I was out for 3 months, I didn't really miss it. I didn't really miss going out because I didn't feel like going out. But sometimes you may feel like going out, but you can't. And so, yeah, the worldly creation. But we don't want to worship the creation instead of the creator. Hat tip to my Bible thumper caller. Hat tip. It changes you. I mean, I got this clip in particular because of on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, he covered how these women are planting trees to make the blacks or the criminals calm down. The shade will cool them off, as JLP said. Well, if your place is junky, then I guess you're going to kind of reflect the place. But I think the place is a reflection of us being evil. Bruce Lee was born in San Francisco, but moved to Hong Kong at 4 months old, says Big Bump. So eat that, scientist man. Bruce Lee was indeed an anchor baby. Thank you, Big Bump. I knew that he was wrong. I just, anyway, I deferred to him because I was being a beta. Thank you, Hassan. Appreciate the input.
Yes, sir.
Let me get to HAMZA called in after all. I had to hang up on him real quick because he was like talking about my personal life. From Utica, New York. How you doing, HAMZA?
How you doing, Hake?
Hey, fine, man.
How's it going? Whatchamacall? I was just saying, I just feel like over the years that you're socializing more. I think your attitude has changed more. I see you covered the Confederate flag up on your computer.
Yeah, the beautiful rebel flag. I covered up to remonetize my channel and maybe JLP's channel. I think it may be a losing effort, but I cover it frequently when I'm on other platforms out of because Twitch bans it. The whole culture is against it.
It's a money reason?
Money and respect and deference to respect.
Respect.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Because even though just because they disrespect the beautiful South doesn't mean I should disrespect them.
Wow.
Yeah. They disrespect the whites, but whites do not respond in kind because we're Christians.
Understood, man.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. Are you a virgin?
What? Nobody's a virgin. No man is a virgin. That's a
Are
personal
you a virgin?
question. That's a personal question. Of course not.
Of course
I'm
not.
not a woman.
All right. Well,
you think I'm a woman?
All right. I was just wondering. No,
you think I'm a girl?
No.
No? Then why did you ask?
No,
why did you ask if I'm a girl who has not had that S word yet?
Well, no, I'm just asking, man, because I think a lot of your issues are you don't hang out enough with people, you don't socialize enough. You're not too much of a socialist. You need to hang out more with people. Yeah.
A socializer as opposed to a socialist.
Yeah. Staying alone and doing things alone might be hurting you, man.
Well, I appreciate the input.
Yeah, man.
There may be some truth in that. Who knows?
Now, Hassan, your co-host?
Yes.
And he should be your co-host. Is there any way he could have more airtime or like, can you guys share the show more?
You're putting in your requests, huh?
Yeah, putting in my requests. Like he's good. He's a good co-host, man. He balances you out.
Cool, man. Thank you for the input.
Yeah, that would help the show out a lot. And hanging out with people would help you out a lot. Okay. I know an Albanian guy that could help you out a lot.
Well, thanks, man.
His name is
No. Yeah, don't tell me. Well, I don't want you name dropping. I'm gonna drop you if you name drop it.
I want you to hang out with this Albanian guy. He could help you out a lot.
I'm gonna drop you if you name drop it. Okay.
You always hang up on me, man.
Yeah, because
what is your issue?
Well, for one thing, you're talking about personal stuff, which is a little bit snaky. Because you call in.
What do you talk about? What do you talk about, Hake?
You
don't talk about personal things?
I'm the host. I can talk about what I want to talk about. You call in.
Oh, you could talk about whatever you want to talk about, but when people call in, you want to direct the conversation. You don't want them to talk about what they want to talk about.
Right, because because you called in saying
that's how it works for you.
Your comment, the written comment from the call screener who takes your call and takes your question or comment says comment, black on white crime, which is not a comment, it's a topic, but I accept that. You have not said one word, and you've been on for 3.5 minutes about black on white crime. You're trying to make all these side comments like you care for me like a momma.
Oh,
So anyway.
All right. Well,
so that's why
no.
I question your motives. Anyway, go ahead.
All right. Well, no, I don't know if that's how you feel. I don't.
It's not how I feel. I just stated facts.
Feel. I mean, I'm stating that.
Is it a fact that you have not called that it's been?
The Iraqi guy should have more airtime than you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it a fact
dude?
Is it a fact that you have not talked about black on white crime in 4 minutes?
I haven't gotten there yet.
Well, we don't have all the time in the world.
Emotional. Well, you always get emotional and hang up.
Wait, you're accusing me of being
emotional. We could talk our way into it.
All right.
Can't we just talk our way into
it? Use your socialism skills to talk your way into it then, HAMZA. Get right on with it.
All right, here we go. My what I've noticed is that whites commit more crime. I'm just being honest. Right now, in a lot of cities,
more crime than what?
Yep. Right now,
more crime than who?
Than all the minorities and groups in America.
Are you white?
Yes. You know that.
I don't know that, but you said I know that you've said that before. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, let me explain. Let me explain to you what I'm thinking. What I see.
How did you notice that?
Right. I used to own a property. I used to be a landlord.
Wow, everybody's been a landlord.
Yeah, whatchamacallit. Right now, white people are in tremendous trouble. Back in the 90s, I remember the homeless population was mostly black people with a couple whites sprinkled amongst them.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know that.
Now you go down, you could go down L.A., you could go to New York, you could go wherever you want. It's mostly white people with a couple blacks sprinkled amongst them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's mostly crazy white people, and they're hurting private property. They're going into residential buildings. They're shooting up heroin. They're leaving their needles everywhere. They're causing a health issue in all the little cities and major cities. Serious health issue, and thievery, and there's a lot going on with the whites, man.
Okay.
There's just a lot. It's complete opposite from the 90s. 90s, there was a lot going on with the blacks, but nobody cared. Nobody cared because they're black.
Well, they did care.
And now
we did the crime bills because we cared so much.
Oh yeah, we cared enough to fix them good. Actually, we cared enough. We cared enough.
So we
to jail
turned
them
that
all.
around, right? Now the whites are a mess.
Well, now.
Are you saying that blacks are not committing crimes as much as whites are?
No, not even close, man.
Well, you're living in your own little world then.
No, dude, I'm out in the streets, man. I see it. You could see it. Look down, go to LA. It's all crazy white people. It's all crazy white people.
No,
it's all crazy white people.
No, it's not.
Yeah, count all the white people. Those are all crazy white people, man, and they're Americans.
One of them, we had a problem homeless bum who was a Jewish guy who was from the IDF. He was in the IDF, according to him, and he was a problem. And then there's a black guy who cleans up after himself. And then there are some whites. There's some. There's even some
tons,
Asians.
Man, there's tons. You should instead of going to the beach alone. Instead of going to the beach alone, take a camera and walk down Skid Row.
That's
and
dumb.
Show them.
That's a dumb idea. I like to go to places that are beautiful. It changes you, according to Benny Johnson.
Yeah, you go by yourself. Go do something real with your life and go show people what's going down.
Why do I want to do that?
Well, why do you want to stay in your own bubble, man, and not know what you're talking about?
Santa Monica's not a bubble. It's beautiful.
Yeah, man.
What makes you think I don't know what I'm talking about? What have I said that's not true?
Anybody can see the homeless situation is mainly white people. You could just go down there and count all the crazy white people. You know what I mean? And you see, there's like 100 crazy white people and maybe 5-10 crazy black people mixed amongst them.
Are you saying that blacks' lives are subsidized or something like that?
No, I'm not saying anything. I'm saying you should be honest with the situation, man. You understand?
I'm honest with the situation. I have no idea what you're talking about, though. Like, I don't know what your point is.
You blame it more on the blacks, and you're not being very honest about the situation.
I blame the
homeless.
When have I blamed the homelessness on the blacks?
No. I could go back episode after episode. Man.
I have never blamed homelessness on the blacks.
You continuously target black
crime.
minorities and
black
transgender
violent crime.
minorities. Black violent crime.
Black and violent crime and Hispanics because
that's all you target.
It's not all I target, but it's something that
well,
I talk about.
Yeah. Well,
why are you being a white knight for the blacks?
I'm not a white knight. I'm a white knight for the whites, you idiot.
You love the whites?
Yeah, I'm white. I'm white.
You're not white. You're not Anglo.
I'm what Anglo? What does that mean?
Anglo
what
means of
about?
English descent.
White Anglo-Saxon Protestant.
Yeah. You're not even a Christian.
Well, listen, my friend. Listen,
Yeah.
I know for a fact you're from Scotland.
No, I'm not from Scotland.
Yeah, you're Scottish.
I have some Scottish in me. Yes.
Yes, you are. You come from a cross-dressing people.
No.
A people where the men dress like women for thousands of years.
See, you don't love
where
the
men
whites.
run around in skirts.
You don't love the
You
whites.
understand? Do I get mad at you? No. Even though your people are the ones who started all this transgender stuff.
You don't even know what you're talking about, Hamza. You're being
Yes,
you're being
I do.
silly now.
You come from a culture of men that wear skirts.
You're being silly
And you
now.
do. Yes, you do. It's been in your culture for years.
You're being silly.
No, it's true. Look it up.
Oh, okay.
And does it bother you? I mean, does it make you mad? Is that why you?
Are you trying to make me mad? Hamza, are you trying to make me mad?
No, I'm trying to tell you the truth.
That's not the truth. That has nothing.
What are you talking
Scottish
about?
has
It's a
nothing to do
skirt.
with transgender.
It's a skirt, not a kilt. It's a skirt, not a kilt, idiot.
Why are you name calling me?
No, because I see why you're mad at transgendered people, because you come from the culture that introduced all this transgendered stuff.
How am I mad at transgender people?
Because you.
Can you name
constantly
one
keep
incident of me
talking
being
about
mad
them.
at a transgender?
My first phone call, I called up and I told you, please stop picking on these people. You're going to get somebody killed. And you said, yeah. And then someone got killed.
That was not your first phone call.
Yeah, my first phone call, you could look it up. I told you, you remind me of Bill O'Reilly. You're going to get people killed. Look up the phone call, and you wound up getting people killed.
I wound up getting people killed.
Yes, you are. You're a sarcastic terrorist. That's what you really are. And
You're
that's what
you're such a mama, man. Why are you such a mama?
No, because
you remind me of Joe from Phoenix, Arizona. You ever heard of Sleepy Joe from Phoenix, Arizona?
No, I don't know.
Have you ever heard him? Yeah, Joe from Phoenix, Arizona. No. I'm talking here. I'm talking here. You need to be quiet, or else I'll put you on hold, or I'll drop you.
All right, that's it. All right.
Okay, so
Right, well,
Joe
now
from.
you're being rude. Now you're just rude.
Why are you rambling?
No, you're being rude, man.
I'm being rude. I'm talking.
Yeah,
I told you to be quiet,
finish.
and you keep on talking.
No,
with an attitude.
Because you know what you're talking about. Go ahead, finish.
All right. So Joe from Phoenix, Arizona says, James, you and Jesse, because you constantly lie and denigrate and black people, which we don't lie and we don't denigrate black people. You're gonna cause.
That's a lie.
You're causing. Be quiet with your little side comments, Hamza. You're gonna cause you make it more dangerous for people like me. I'm an upstanding black man, part white, and I'm married to a white woman, and I look after black kids and raise them to be right and teach them to be right. And you guys, you just lie and denigrate and get your hate dollars, and you're gonna cause you justify Dylan Roof shooting up the black thing because he said that blacks are raping whites, and by and large, the rapes are on the same race, and they're not mostly raping white women. And you're justifying Dylan Roof's murder, and you're going to cause another murder. And by the way, Alex Jones got a lawsuit and almost shut down because this is my impression of Joe from Phoenix.
Are you trying to make me laugh?
Control yourself, Hamza.
Sorry.
Act like an Anglo with self-control.
No, keep going. Keep going.
Alex Jones getting shut down and censored, and you're going to get shut down for your hate speech, and I'm a communist, and I don't believe in freedom of speech, and you have some good in you, and we could have some good in us, and I really care about you. You're not all the way gone. You're not evil like Jesse is.
No.
Hold on, I'm not done.
Are you done yet?
No, I'm not done. I'm going on and on.
Go ahead.
I'm doing my Joe
going.
from Phoenix. You're gonna cause a terror attack with your hate speech against the blacks, and that's what you're doing. You're accusing me of causing. You're accusing me of hating and being angry at transgenders, which I've never expressed anger or hatred towards transgenders. And you're justifying the transgender retaliating against the Christians because the Christians are hating the transgenders, and they may well be, but you're acting like one person saying something is responsible for other people doing something. That's called momma spirit, HAMZA. Do you get what I mean by momma spirit? You're acting like I'm responsible for because of my words, for somebody else overreacting allegedly to me and shooting up a place. That's a control freak communist, which is not logical. I know that you're not a Christian, and I know that you're not like a normal white who loves white people and loves black people and loves transgenders. You're a liberal. You call yourself a conservative, but you're really a liberal. You're acting like you care about me, but you don't. You like mama care about me.
I do not care about you 100%. I do not care about you. I'll say it right out there. I do not care about you. I will. You know what?
Then how come you act like a mama? How come you act emotional?
That whole diatribe you just went through was so disturbing. It was so disturbing. Are
you disturbed? You're emotionally disturbed?
I'm very disturbed by you. I would like to debate you. Is there any way we could have a moderator? I would like to debate you. I challenge you to debate.
No, I'm not interested in that.
Yeah, I challenge your idiot ass to debate.
I had to hang up on him because he knows not to cuss, but maybe he couldn't control himself. Thank you for the call, HAMZA. Hamana. Terrible. Let me get to this story about the one true justice, Clarence Thomas. See, I love black people. Clarence Thomas is awesome. There's this tweet from Senator Blumenthal, probably not a Christian. He's like this grown adult white man, supposedly, who's tweeted this. Chief Justice Roberts, that's John Roberts, dodging responsibility in declining to appear before our committee, what is it, the Senate Judiciary Committee, is another example of the so-called Supreme Court, he doesn't call it so-called, thinking it doesn't have to answer to anyone. Now you own the court's betrayal of the public trust. And this is all this drama. And there's a picture of John Roberts. He's a rhino. He was appointed by one of the Bushes. He's the Chief Justice. He pretended that, Obamacare is a tax, therefore it's constitutional. It was never called a tax. It was denounced as not a tax. I mean, it was called not a tax. It's not a tax. And then they said, it's a tax, therefore it's constitutional. Stupid. Anyway, socialism. Commie capitalism. Chief Justice John Roberts declines to testify before Congress over ethics concerns. Ethics is a liberal word for false morals, right? Appearances, false appearances. They don't care about appearances. I mean, they don't care about appearances when it comes to liberals. They just want to take down our greatest one true justice, Clarence Thomas, the black one, who was appointed, maybe it was affirmative action, maybe it was a token, but regardless, he is the best justice. This is from the Failing New York Slimes. In an accompanying statement on ethics practices, the Supreme Court's justices insisted their current ethical guidelines on gifts, travel, and financial deals are sufficient. And this is all because of that story I've told you over the recent weeks. Justice Clarence Thomas took some trips, maybe got some gifts and things, personal gifts, little swag. I think it was just mainly just awesome trips with that one guy, that one rich guy, Clarence Thomas and his wife, Ginny Thomas, white lady, conservative lady, pro-Trump lady. I wonder if it's right for her to be active, so politically active. But I appreciate her pushing for what's right. So anyway, they said, oh, he got all these trips and he never announced them. So what? It was they were personal in nature. Those gifts were personal in nature. He didn't have to. And then in the year they changed the reporting stuff, he started reporting them, is what I heard. But I don't know. Don't know, don't care. He's like the one unshakable justice who, by and large, rules rightly more than any of the rest of them, except for maybe Alito. Samuel Alito is also a decent guy, I think. Samuel Alito, right? Or is that with the guy who was killed? Or he wasn't killed. He died in his sleep. The pillow was over his head, but it was like up here. It wasn't over his face like they smothered him. Or some people think that he did. It did sound weird. The reporting sounded weird. That's Scalia, Antonin Scalia. Maybe that's the one who, I don't know. I can't keep their things straight. Their things straight. But shout out to Justice Clarence Thomas. They've been gunning for him ever since before he was even appointed. Approved. Terrible. So let me tell you this story. Moving on. It's so phony. This got me agitated inwardly. INWARD. This is a pic tweeted out by John Roberts of Fox. These traffic blocking protesters. I don't know what I called this one. Willow Project. No, hold on. Not Willow Project. John Roberts tweeted this out. No, not John Roberts. Another John Roberts. Not to be confused with the Chief Justice John Roberts. John Roberts of Fox News. I don't think I have the screenshot for you guys. What in the world? Maybe I have it in my screenshots. Do I not have it? Maybe I have it in the other folder. Come on. No, I don't see it. Oh, I'll just tell you about it because it's still infuriating, regardless of the picture. Just picture this. It's a scene on a highway close your eyes like me. It's a scene on a highway, not unlike this one right here. Well, it's a little bit unlike it, but I'm all pointing the wrong way. On the streets, there's a divider on the highway, and some, I don't want to say dumb, evil people, because it's not good for the kids to be saying dumb, evil all the time. Misguided people, environmentalists, right? Protesting the Willow Project, which was appointed by Sleepy Joe Biden. They shut down the George Washington Parkway northbound just outside of D.C. D.C. is not anywhere near where the Willow Project is happening. Willow Project is happening way up on the northern end of Alaska. Willow Project. And I don't know if I'm for the Willow Project because Obama, Biden is doing it. Sleepy Joe Biden is doing it. Willow Project is the Alaska oil drilling venture because Biden was trying to shut down oil drilling, and then some judge said, you can't do that in 2021. So he's like, okay, I'll go ahead and do it because they make money off of the oil drilling. You know, they make major money and put out oil, and we become more and more energy independent. So that's kind of a good thing. But during the 2020 presidential campaign, Sleepy Joe vowed to end new oil and gas drilling, natural gas, right, on public lands and waters. But he did that with an executive order, but that drilling pause was struck down by a federal judge in 2021, and since then, the Sleepy Joe Biden administration, according to Commie Nonsense Network, opened up several new areas for new drilling. And they've been challenged in courts by so-called environmental groups. What's an environmental group? Meaning environmentalist, which is also not even an acceptable word for it. They pretend like they love the environment, but they are communists or suckers, misguided people. And so they're blocking the streets, being annoying to the people on the road? How would you like that, to be annoyed by the people on the road? People standing on the road, blocking the street. They should be arrested, I say, and put into slavery to work on the side of the road with the Caltrans, with the other slaves, volunteers, voluntary laborers. Willow Project. And he shut down those pipelines, right? Because Trump had some pipelines going. And Sleepy Joe shut it down. We were energy independent, and then the gas price is going up because of the liberal overreaction to the virus and the liberal overreaction to the Ukraine thing, going after Russia for no good reason. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. So, anyway. Super chat from Ko-Fi. Thanks for the heads up there. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert gave a tip on Ko-Fi, ko-fi.com/@the-Hake report. An hour ago he gave this. Man, I am remiss in not reading this. The wheat and tares is a parable about genetics and racial mixing, he says. Whoa. That's why Jesus says for his followers not to round up the tares, because it's hard for humans to tell the difference sometimes. Every plant which my heavenly Father hath not planted shall be rooted up, says spoiler alert. I don't think that it's about genetics and race mixing. That's interesting. That's why I'm always talking about, is he a normal white? That's interesting. I disagree with you, I think, spoiler alert. That's interesting, though. I'd never heard that. The ideas people get about what people say. I think wheat and tares is, you never know. Although somebody is evil today, you don't know what will happen throughout his life or even her life. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? For example, Trump was very pro-abortion, and now he's pro-life somewhat. Or Tucker Carlson was for the Iraq war and for that neocon mess, right? So-called neocon stuff. And now he's against it. And those are examples of people changing their minds. But maybe those are examples of people who have become born again throughout their life. You don't ever know. You never know. I think that's more what it's about. But I guess that's speculation too, huh? Could be. Thank you, man. Appreciate that super chat. That's interesting. Yeah, I think it's just that God allows the evil and the non-evil among even the Christians. Among even the Christians. Many Christians are fake, right? Most. I think that's more what it is. Anyway, guys, I got to end. We're at nearly the top of the hour. This has been the Hake Report. Let's listen to some more Christian music, Christian punk. Or is it? This is Stand Together by Squad 5-0, 1998 album, Fight the System. And it's sort of, enjoy. I've played it once before. Adios, America.